Hi and welcome to the Great Debaters Contest. I'm your host George Karaoke. Thank you for joining us. Now imagine a 14-year-old in prison doing hard labor. Why? Because he stole or he murdered. He committed a crime that now sets him on the same pedestal as an adult criminal. And so he's prosecuted as an adult. What is your take? Should that teenager be prosecuted as an adult for his criminal offenses? Let's get straight to the debate to see what the students think.
The motion this week is prosecute teenagers as adults for criminal offenses. Proposing the motion, Loreto Convent Valley Road. Opposing the motion, Nairobi MILIMANI Secondary School. Each contestant has 3 minutes to make their submissions. The audience also gets a chance to put their questions to each team. Each side will have an additional 1 minute to make a final statement. The judge's decision is final. But in a twist, the audience also gets to have their say through the popular vote. This will see an extra 5% added to the school that wins this vote. The winning school will get an ICT chill-out zone with a widescreen TV, computers, webcam, and internet connection. The teacher from the winning school will get a 100,000 shillings cash prize, and the winning students will each get a laptop. And together they all win the title, The Great Debaters. May the best school win!
Proposer number 1, Vanessa, I'll call on you. You have 3 minutes to argue your motion.
Today, Loreto Convent Valley Road is here to propose the motion that says prosecute teenagers as adults for criminal offenses. Well, I'll start by defining who is a teenager. This is someone between the age of 13 and 19, according to the Oxford Dictionary. A criminal offense is being involved in something that is illegal. Well, by the age of 18 or 19, one is already considered an adult by the Constitution and the society. One has already gone through 14 years of school, so they have learned what is wrong and what is right. They know what is good and what is bad. So for whatever criminal offense that should be committed by this person, they should be prosecuted without any debate on that. Well, in the traditional society, all teenagers were considered responsible. This is about moral values. In fact, at 17 and 18, most of them were like warriors or something like that. So who defined the age? Why did you tell me that the ancestors were wrong when by the age of 17 that one was to be responsible, one was going to be a warrior? Were they wrong when they did that? No, as a matter of fact, they were all responsible for their actions. Whatever they did, they had to go through the Council of Elders. So what makes it different today in our modern society? What makes it different that they should not be prosecuted? Teenagers are mature. Looking at the testing or at the Form 4 level, take a look at our Kenyan system. We are taught, we go to school, through the various subjects that we do, CRE, history, all of this, we all learn what's wrong and right. So I guess, actually, I say that teenagers know they know what they're doing. They have a sound mind. So they should be, whatever wrong that they do, they should be prosecuted for that. And it's all about justice, not sympathy. You shouldn't, just because you say they're 15 or they're fragile or something like that, that they should not be prosecuted. No, they should be prosecuted for that. Thank you.
Opposer number 1, you have 3 minutes to argue your motion.
Thank you all. I'd like to oppose the motion that states that teenagers should be prosecuted just like adults in a court of law for their criminal offenses. This, first of all, is the violation of children's rights according to the Children's Act of number 8 of 2001, part 3, which states that, which safeguards the rights of the children and states that a teenager is subjected to parental care and loving from the parents. Number 2, they cannot make sound decisions. A teenager is aged between 13 and 19. This is a kid and cannot make fully upright decisions like an adult. The third point is to bring up an to bring up more rehabilitation centers to deal with these teenagers. When teenagers perform criminal offenses, they violate their rights, but they're not supposed to be prosecuted in a court of law, because they should be dealt especially because these are teenagers and they cannot fully make decisions. This will set up more education facilities for the teenagers. Thank you.
Proposer number 2, you have 3 minutes to argue your motion.
I support the motion that teenagers who commit crimes should be tried as adults, because this acts as a deterrent for all teenagers to do the right thing, because they know if they do the wrong thing, they'll be taken to adult prison, which is very intimidating. Also, we as this generation, we're the internet era, so we are more aware than previous generations of what is right and what is wrong. So as a teenager, when you commit a crime like stealing or murder, you obviously know it is wrong, and then we should take them to adult prison so that they may fear the law. When someone commits a crime such as rape, and then you take them to, let's say, an approved school, they don't get the proper punishment for that. They don't learn properly. So now, if you take them to adult school, they'll have proper fear of the law. They'll know that this is what they should do, and if they do not do it, there'll be dire consequences. Also, it will prevent teenagers to be manipulated by older people, because we know some crimes, the teenagers are influenced by older people to do them. But if I, as a teenager, know that if I do this, even I will get a very hard sentence, I'll not allow to be manipulated by someone else. And also, we see that for more of the Kenyan people, we're very religious. So in our religion, let's say for Christianity, we have confirmation at 18, we are considered to be adults, and even in the Jewish religion. So when we become a teenager, we have gone through all that schooling, not only in education or formal education, but also in informal education. And also, we see that a juvenile prison or a private institution, it serves for criminal teenagers and non-criminal. So this means that a teenager, let's say, who's committed murder or rape, is put in the same place with a person who just needed protection. Maybe they were bitten at home, and that's why they were taken to a remand institution. So you put innocent people with these people that might influence them negatively. Yes, and we know that the aim of the juvenile system is not to punish, it's to rehabilitate. So when a teenager is taken to that place, they just take into vocational education, they don't get psychological treatment, so you don't get to the main cause of the problem. Therefore, after the sentence, they haven't learned anything. And so they become repeaters. Yes. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Proposer number 2, you have 3 minutes to argue your motion.
Thank you all. I'm here to oppose this motion that says prosecute teenagers' activities in criminal offenses such as adults. And to my first point, to be pioneers of moral values in the society. A teenager who has committed crime is not supposed to be taken as an adult, simply because this teenager can be molded and be taken to a rehabilitation center, and after being taken to a rehabilitation center, he can be molded and become an upright person in the society. And to my second point, to encourage the appreciation of the law. To encourage the appreciation of the law. Okay, simply I want to bring this out by saying this. A teenager, after being taken to a rehab center, he will know that the government, he will realize that the government he will appreciate the law of the government by knowing that the government has taken a concern of him being a teenager, and he will come out of the rehab center a reformed person in the society. And to promote social and physiological uprightness in the society. Okay, first of all, we have to look behind the reason why this teenager committed such an offense in the society. We don't have to rush into the account of taking this teenager into a prison, putting him in those people who are in the prison are hardened people. This teenager who is lesser in the society, taken to a hardened prison, will come out being hardened, and he will not appreciate the law of the government. Thank you.
I am Alex Nego from Lenana School. Well, coming up is more debate, more action, and of course, more frustration for the losing sides. Well, what more can I say? This keeps getting hotter. Stay with us.
My question is to the proposing side. I'd like you to convince me beyond doubt that taking the teenagers to an adult prison will do more good than harm, because I tend to think that it will do them harm, because there will be other people who are of higher age than them, and it will just cause trauma and stress to them. I don't think that will help them.
I believe that in the teenage stage, this is an age when you're molding the young people to be better people. How does punishing them by taking them to places that are not appropriate for age helping them? Thank you.
How sure are you those guys, when they're taken to a rehabilitation center or you decide to be easy on them, they are going to come back better people in the society? Or are they going to continue with what they are doing and harassing the people or doing things which are not allowed?
Do you think that teenagers who commit crimes like murder and such crimes, do you think that they commit them not knowing, or do they commit them in an adult stage? A crime like murder is a very big and adult-like crime.
Proposal number 3, you have 3 minutes to answer the questions that were posed to you.
The first question was to convince you that in adult prison they won't be harmed. Remember, as all citizens, we also have rights. Just because we're in prison doesn't mean that we don't have rights. Our rights in prison are just limited. Therefore, we should remember that a crime is still a crime. Whether you're an adult or a teenager, you did it knowingly that it is a wrong thing that you're supposed to do. Then the second thing is about molding them, molding the teenagers while in prison. Prison also offers vocational skills that they should learn there, knowing that in vocational skills they will learn more about responsibility that they will acquire. When they leave the prison, they will know that they've acquired something. Like, for example, in prisons today, they offer like carpentry. When they live there, they can use that carpentry to be the source of income in their lives. And also, once taken to prison, it should be an example to others. Just because you're a teenager, to know that when you're talking to juvenile court, it will not... Juvenile court is just like a rehabilitation center. You won't be punished for the skills that you've done, the wrongs that you've done. And also in prisons, remember, you're also visited by church leaders and also the society. You're not forgotten just because you did a crime. Everyone does mistakes. It's a fact. But you have to know that the mistakes that you've done, that you correct them, that you not go the wrong way. Also remember that in Kenyan Constitution, when you've turned the age of 18, you're considered as an adult. Therefore, just because you're 18, you think that the law will protect you, as in you go to juvenile court. Remember that when you do a wrong, you must be punished. Thank you.
Proposal number 3, you have 3 minutes to answer the questions posed to you.
First question is, how are they going to be better in the society after being taken to the rehabilitation center? Okay, the rehabilitation center is a place where they are being taught on good moral values, and we have to consider these teenagers as children. So the consequences which are going to give them should be of better interest of those children. And it won't be by taking them to the prison, which won't be of better interest to those children who are teenagers. The second question was of the murder. You see, a teenager, there are scientific research which have been taken and show that their minds are not fully matured. So there must be someone who is behind and has made that teenager to perform that act. So there must be investigation departments which will investigate on that matter and find the person who made those teenagers to go into that case of committing that crime like murder. And to go into my one of my points on to oppose the motion is, as we see, teenagers' behaviors are malleable, whereby a teenager, the mind is still growing, so there must be someone who will guide on that teenager on how he or she should behave For example, by taking them to a rehabilitation center instead of taking them to a prison where they'll be taught to be morally upright people. By taking them to the prison, you'll be exposing them to more criminals who are cruel. And that teenager, because he or she is still on the edge of growing, those criminals who are in the prison will corrupt his mind, and at the end results, he will be a bigger criminal when he or she gets out of that prison, because the environment has shaped that teenager to be a criminal. Even we are preventing them being exploited by the other prisoners who are bigger than them. The prisoners there will take advantage simply because they see they are teenagers, they are young, and they are big prisoners, adult prisoners. So they even go into committing the offenses such like homosexuality onto these young teenagers who cannot defend themselves. So we need to take them to a rehabilitation center instead of punishing them like adults by taking them to prison. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I said it before and I'm going to say it again. It's all about justice, not sympathy. Tell me, who will sympathize with their mother's killer? Who? It's about moral values and building a better society. For every action, there is a consequence. So for every single wrong thing that a teenager does, or whoever does, rather a criminal does, they have to face the consequences. So now tell me, are we going to sit back, fold our hands, and watch our society crumbling down in the name of protecting the rights of the minor ones? No. Thank you.
Oppose the motion that says that teenagers should be prosecuted for criminal offenses. This is the destruction of the child's future, who would have become a very useful person in the future in the country. Take for case murder. When a person is murdered, then you subject the kid for life sentence in a prison. This will destroy completely the future of the kid, who would later have become useful in the society. To enhance professionalism, once rehabilitation centers are set up, rehabilitation centers are set up, professionals will be employed to deal with these rowdy teens. This will give more people work. Also, to make them realize their full potential. Once they are sentenced to sentences in prison, this will not make them realize their full potential. They will become discriminated. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's hear from the judges.
Look, this is a fascinating debate. And you are teenagers. So effectively, you're debating whether you should be tried as adults if indeed you committed a criminal offense or were suspected to have committed a criminal offense. So passion was really important. I think I could have seen more passion. I think you approached it from the sense of this is a debate, not this is a real issue I'm grappling with. And it would be great for you to take the position that I'm either the teenager or the leader making the decision, and debate it from that point of view, so you're inside it. Nevertheless, a good effort on both sides. I don't think it's an easy debate. Let me just come to one simple language error. You don't do mistakes. You make mistakes. So it's just a small language thing. I love that you started strong, simple definitions, and then you went into things. At one point, you talked about the African traditional point of view way back in the past. You touched on Christianity, but I think a statement was made about confirmation at a certain age. Not all denominations confirm. So important to note that. Nairobi MILIMANI, I think it's been said, you know, better utilization of time would have been excellent, and expression. I think for Oyula, you're a big, strong guy, right? You can come out a little bit. you just need to project a little bit harder, and this also applies to Peter. Project a little bit harder, and people will believe everything you say, because you do have a presence here, and that's the same with Jaffa. So make absolute use of it. Peter, I loved the fact that you touched on the statute. You know, you came out and actually gave us the law, and that was very important. So those, you know, that was commendable. But just a few tips there to help you guys moving forward with public speaking. Thanks.
How many think that the proposers had a better argument, by a show of hands? How many feel that the opposers had a better argument? Well, the proposers have it.
Loreto Convent Valley Road at 69%, it's a good effort. And Nairobi MILIMANI Secondary School at 52%. I think some of the points were raised. Why? We think you can come up a lot higher than that. The 5% goes to Loreto Convent Valley Road, so you effectively now have 74% in total. You go to the next round, but congratulations still also for the effort to Nairobi MILIMANI.
Let's congratulate Nairobi MILIMANI again for their participation. And of course, Loreto Valley Road. Now, this has been The Great Debaters. I'm your host, George Karaoke. See you next time.
The very same government that we claim to have elected on our own uses the funds that we give as taxes instead of helping the normal citizen to enrich themselves.
The Constitution, the public has to take part on it. Every single person here has to take part on it to say if I abide with it or not.
The winning school will get an ICT chill-out zone with a widescreen TV, computers, webcam, and internet connection. The teacher from the winning school will get a 100,000 shillings cash prize, and the winning students will each get a laptop. And together they all win the title, The Great Debaters. May the best school win!